Well, hunting season's officially over. It's 15 degrees out, and I don't think I'm going to be doing any winter riding this year. I'll keep this one in the garage, so in case I get the itch to go rip through the yard. But this guy and the wife's machine, they're going to get put in the trailer, which is stored off-site, and they'll live there until it gets warm again. So we're going to cover a couple things today, just basically routine maintenance. I'm going to check a few things. We're going to do oil change. We're going to check the diffs. We're going to talk about the things that I do to prepare for storage, and things that I like to do to kind of help protect the machine. So I've already pressure washed these two machines. This one relatively clean, didn't get ridden much this year. Let's take a look here though. So I've got all the plastics off. Machines are relatively clean, but you can tell, I mean, like, all I did was pressure wash, so you can tell it's not like pristine. It was like 35 degrees out, so I didn't want to freeze my butt off and do the normal wash and dry and all that fun stuff. But they're relatively clean. I kind of don't really like putting them away this dirty, but I don't really have a choice, and I'm not going to go to the self-service washes because, well, those are expensive. But yeah, so the first thing I like to do is I like to take the skid plates off. Normally I do that before I pressure wash, but let's do that now and I'll show you why I like to do that. Alright, to get the skid plate off, you really don't need much. I just, for ease of use, I just use a ratchet with an extension, 10 millimeter, because there's two bolts in the back that are tight. One of these little pry tools for pulling these pins out. There's other ways you can do it, but, and then so what I do is, so I don't lose all this stuff, I just put all these this stuff in here. That way I don't lose it, because it'll be April before I go pull the wheelers out. So let's pop this off and see what this looks like. Ooh, I almost lost one. Probably should have moved the leaves out of here first. All right, so it's pretty easy. Pull this forward, down, and then push this back. And this is why you want to clean, you want to take this out and clean it. So if I just left this here, this has been sitting in my garage for 2 weeks now, and this is still moist. So what that's doing is it's sitting on the frame, and it's slowly rotting away the frame, assuming that there's no paint chips. And well, this is a 10-year-old machine, and yeah, there's definitely scrapes and stuff all on the bottom. So really super important, if you want to keep your machine for a long time, I recommend doing that. These 300s, they don't have those type of skid frames, so there's really nothing that's going to hang up and collect dirt on the bottom of these. But as you can see, well, maybe you can or cannot, but there's a bunch of crap hanging down from the machine, and it would probably be best if I clean that off. So I'll probably hit it with the broom, clean the frame off a little bit, see if we can get that done now. Again, I recommend doing this before you pressure wash because it's so much easier and it'll do a much better job, but well. Alright, let's see what the results are. Tools out of the way. Move forward. And yeah, that was what was stuck on the frame. There's probably still stuff there, but let's move on. We'll sweep this out, and I want to do the oil change now. Alright, I got a 17mm bolt on the bottom here, and I did let the wheeler run for a minute, but the oil is going to be a little cool. This is going to take longer to drain out, but yeah, all we're really looking for the oil's clean. Yeah, looks pretty good. Once it's done draining, we'll take a look and see if there's any metal shavings in there. Wheeler hasn't given me any indications that there's a problem, so I'm assuming this is going to be good. While that's draining, we're going to tackle the filter, so let's get to that. Alright, these are pretty easy to get out. They're 8mm bolts, and I usually just use a 1/4 inch. Just crack them loose. While I'm doing that, I wanted to talk a little bit too on like the frequency that I do stuff. I do oil. I service all my machines after riding season, which is typically November-ish when we're done with deer hunting. That's usually when I do the maintenance. I'll change oil, I will check the fluids, I'll check the diffs, and then store the batteries in the basement. So you can go off whatever you'd like, whether it's manufacturer or what have you, but I don't really necessarily see the need to change the oil more frequently unless I swamp it and you get water in the oil. That's the only time I would change it right after a ride, but otherwise I only ride, I don't know, 500-600 miles a year on this machine, which isn't a ton. So alright, so what's going to happen if you don't take the skid plate out? You're going to get oil that's going to go into the skid plate. Most of it's going to drain down through here, and hopefully not make too big of a mess. We'll see what happens. You can put a rag there, but yeah, oil looks pretty good. And this O-ring, they say to replace this every time. I haven't had any problems yet. This one's still got a little bit of a bulge in it, so it protrudes past the aluminum here. But I'll probably, you know, it's been 10 years now, so probably going to have to replace this pretty soon. But looking at the filter, I don't see anything glittery in here. Everything's looking good. Oil still looks nice and clean. What do you expect for a couple 100 miles? So next thing what I'll do is clean this out, and then once it's clean, I'll put the new filter in, hit it with some brake clean. Well, let's do that in a minute here. Let it drain. Alright, well, while we're waiting for the oil to drain, let's take a look at the diff. This is one thing I like to check before I put it away as well. I typically do these every other year, but I like to check them, because if there's any moisture in there, then or dirt, then it's a guaranteed you need to change it. But if you let's see here, fluid, how's the fluid look? We might be low. Let's see. So this is the fill plug. I'm gonna pull this guy just to make sure that we got enough fluid in here. Yeah, let me do that real quick. All right. See, we got 10mm right here for the check. And nothing should come out of this. If I overfilled it a little bit, it might, but just want to make sure we got some fluid in here. Got a little oil coming out. I'm going to add some fluid just to make sure it's coming out. All right. Just squirt some of this in here. All right, you can see there's oil coming out of here, and it's still in good condition. Yeah, a little milky, but we'll change that next year. Because I already did it. I did it a year ago, and well, if I don't need to do something, I'm not gonna. So, oil's still in good condition. Let's go check the front. Zip this back in there. Cap back on. All right, check the front. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know how to change the fluids in here, I made a video. You can click the link up top here. But yeah, let's go take a look at the front over here. Alright, on the front side, here's the front fill, and right below it on the other side, which you need to remove the skid plate to access, or at least to check it effectively. So let's pull this. We might have to switch around to the other side, and I already loosened that up, so kind of. Really all I'm doing is I'm just making sure that there's not a big mud mess in here. Because if there was, you'd see it. Oil on the gears looks good. I'm gonna pull the drain real quick and take a peek. I lied. This is a drain and fill in one, so let's take a look and see. I can't tell if there's fluid. Oh, dang it. I might have to take this skid. I'm gonna take this thing off. Look at all this dirt underneath here. Oh man. 4 A-arms. Alright. Let's add some fluid. Glad I looked. I don't see any mud, I don't see any water. The oil looks clean. I know it's hard for you guys to see it. I wonder if I can get my other flashlight here on. Yeah. I mean, I can see that it's good. It's got kind of like this greenish color to it. I don't know, whatever, yellowish, I don't know. It looks clean. The front dips typically are though, because you're dragging fanny through the water holes, and usually the front sits up a little higher and you don't get as much. But usually what happens is, you know, these get hot from riding, and then you hit cold water and it sucks the water past the seals. So that's why you want to change it at least every other year, if not more frequently. Just depends on the kind of riding you do. I do mostly trail riding, so with a few water holes in between. So that looks good. Now let's go check, see what the air cleaner looks like. Suppose I should probably put the cover back on. Is there grit in there? No. I think this bolt is camera shy. Alright, that's tight enough. I'll just cinch her down. again, these are like 17 foot-pounds or something like that, so you don't have to crank on them. But yeah, let's go look at the air cleaner. Alright. Hopefully this isn't too bad. I haven't looked at this in a while. So it's either going to be really nasty, you guys are going to hate me, or... Oh yeah, she's nasty. So I think I need to clean that. Luckily I have air filter cleaner right there. So I'm going to take that off. Let's do that. I don't know if you can hear it, but the geese are just going nuts outside right now. Oh yeah, she's... Guess I need to go looser. Or all the way out, one of the two. Filter's stinking gross. Oh, this is nasty. But the cage is good. Looks really clean on the inside, so the filter's been doing a great job. I could probably clean out the air box. I'll show you here in just a minute. Got some debris in there. Yeah, she's gross. That's pretty nasty. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the air box out and clean that. Alright. Yeah, this is pretty gross. I don't see any tears or anything in here. If this was torn, or if the filter itself looked nasty, or not nasty, but like it needed to be replaced, I wouldn't even spend the time cleaning this. So it looks good. So let's go ahead and put this in this bucket here. I don't have any gloves, which kind of sucks. Maybe I can rob some from the kitchen. Whatever that thing. I think while this is taking a bath, why don't we go ahead and check on the oil, get that all buttoned up. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to pull out the air box real quick, or at least clean it. Let me take a look and see what's easier. Oh, snap. So another thing I'd recommend that you do is down in the bottom here, there's this nipple that sits on a plug. And there's a little, well, let me grab it. Alright, just to make your life a little easier, on the bottom side, right here, there's a nipple. And on this nipple is this little rubber collar, or this rubber boot with this clamp. I would take that out and poke that through. One thing, I was looking, yeah, I can clean my airbox, but I was looking inside here, and it's nice and clean, so the filter's doing its job. That's just going to get dirty as soon as I go down the trail anyway, so I'm just going to leave this as is. But if you want to get to this little plug, you can just reach in through here and you can feel it. That's the easiest way to do it. We'll put that back on. Oil residue looks great. So, new part, Honda quality parts. I recommend buying their filters. Well, I haven't tried anything else, so. And it does say which way to go, right? Spring side Just pop this in there like that. And then we grab this piece. I usually clean it around the sealing surfaces. We're going to want to look and see this O-ring needs to be replaced. It still looks pretty good. So yeah, I think everything looks pretty good here. No concerns. And then I think the name of the game here is really just even pressure. So I'll usually just put it in by hand. And again, this is all aluminum and these are steel bolts, so it's important that you get a couple threads in by hand first before you hit it with your tools. But I do that because I really don't want to be replacing any side cutters or I'm sorry, side cases or any of that stuff. So there is a torque spec on here. It's not very much. Well, if you're curious, these are 9 foot-pounds, so click and click, click, yeah. The bottom one's 17 mil for the drain plug. That one's 18 millimeters. I'm gonna button that up and then we're gonna go fill this bad boy with oil. All right, just for fun, again, I know there's dirt in there, but there's nothing shiny. So I'm happy about that. Gosh, all I did was turn this over. It's doing a pretty darn good job. So we've got fill and dipstick. I just want to let you know that on the inside of the plastic on this side, I write how many quarts, 3.2, and how to check the oil. So this one you don't screw the dipstick in. I really wish that manufacturers would be consistent with all small engines, any type of thing. It should always be you stick the dipstick in, you don't screw it in. I don't know, whatever. But let's get this filled up. Oh man, it's gonna be a two-hander. Maybe? Oh no. Yeah, seal looks good. All right, let's grab the oil. So a couple of things. When I was younger, I bought a whole set of these filters, or funnels, whatever you want to call them. This transmission funnel is the only one I use. I don't use any of the other styles. So if you're thinking about buying any funnels, don't waste your time. Just buy the transmission filter. It gets into tight areas, has good volume. Yeah, I totally recommend it. The other thing is, I'm using Honda oil. Dealer only had 1040. I ride in the summertime for the most part, so if you ride in the wintertime, you may not want to do 1040, 1030, but I haven't noticed any problems. It starts just fine. So again, 3.2 quarts, and for some reason they don't put a little window on here, so I really don't know how much is in here. I think there's about a quart in here. Get this in. And usually what I do is when I put my first quart in, I'll look underneath just to make sure I don't have any drips coming from anywhere, mainly the drain plug. And then once we start it up, we'll check to see if there's any leaks anywhere else. So let me get 3 quarts in here, because you don't need to watch me do this, but all right. Oh, the other thing too is you want to make sure that the oil that you're using, if you're not using Honda oil, is you want to make sure that it's 4-stroke motorcycle oil, because this is a wet clutch. So that means that the engine oil and the transmission for the clutch use the same oil. And if you don't, you're going to have problems. So don't be a cheapskate. Just buy the right stuff. All right, let's see where that is. And when your oil's done draining, in a sec it will be, what I like to do is, rather than I'll just drop this right back into here, let her drain while I'm checking it. Alright, let's see where we're at here. Alright, so we're a little short from the top, so we'll start it up here and we'll see how she does. And I'm going to put you on the other side where you can watch to see if I got an oil leak, okay? Fire in the hole. Was there any leaks? No? Good. I'll hit that with some brake clean in a minute. I think the oil change is done. I might have to top off a little bit, but for the most part I think we're good. Alright. Yeah, we're just a little low, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. And then we'll be good. Put a little splash in here. It's probably like a quarter quart low, but I'll take a look here in a sec. I'll just throw that on the floor. I'll be fine. I'll try this again. I think we need to add more. Yeah, about halfway up. Put another splash in. Again, it doesn't have to be the top, and you don't want to overfill, because what happens if you overfill, then you start popping seals and stuff like that because there's too much pressure. So as long as you're between the lines, I tend to stay at least halfway. But you do you, I'm doing me. Yeah, it's right there. Perfect. So that's done. I think we're going to let the air cleaner go for a minute. What else do we have? We check the air cleaner. Oh, let's check the coolant. Alright, so your antifreeze is located under here. just give you a little picture here. Yeah, so you just basically just push down and twist, and yeah, we're right at the top, so that's good. Just what we like to see. Actually, since we're here, we might as well do the test. Let me go grab the tester. All right, so I don't know how long ago I got this thing, but basically you just suck up antifreeze in here, and depending on where it falls, here in Minnesota, we want to typically be between anything over -20 would be perfect. Might be a little too much, but let's see where we fare. Yeah, I'm right on the money. Like -130, somewhere in that range, so this is perfect. And that's just so she don't freeze when she's sitting in the trailer all winter long. So that's good. Obviously, if you needed to have more coolant in there, you'd end up either having to drain or suck out half gallon or so and adding straight antifreeze, but I don't have to do anything, so we're gonna button this bad boy back up. I think that's all I wanted to do for today. I'm going to move on to the other wheelers, and then we'll check back once the air cleaner is clean. And that should be it. Alright, so this is clean. I think the chemicals did a pretty good job. I just don't know how I feel about it. Takes a long time. You got to let it off gas, and it's saturated with fluid. You're not supposed to wring them out, so I tried drying it off on a paper towel. It looks great, but I'm probably going to have to wait a day until I can recoat this with oil. The other machine, same deal. Wasn't as dirty, but I'm going to go through the same process as that. The one thing I wanted to mention too before I let you guys go is, so this is my winter prep, right? So oil change, check fluids, and then the next thing I do after I'll take after I replace the air filters, I'll get the machines in the trailer, and then I'll pull the batteries out. So they're super easy to get to. You got your trunk right back here. Just fold that bad boy down. And then we move this stuff out of the way. Pop these up, if I can. One, two, and then it comes forward. So then what I'll do is I'll just take positive, negative off, pull the battery out, and then I usually keep it in my basement. You don't want to store them on concrete. Keep it on, I just keep it on wood shelf. If you got a battery tender, plug it into that. I mean, this machine's 10 years old, first battery, so they're great quality batteries as long as you take care of them. All right, it's time to button this project up. So the filters have been off-gassing now for, I don't know, probably about a week and a half. I thought maybe they would be done after a few hours, but it's cold here, so I'm guessing this stuff doesn't evaporate very fast. But so the goal here is to get these filters back in the wheelers. We're just gonna add a little bit of grease on the sealing surfaces here. We're gonna oil them up and put them back in the wheelers, and from there I'll load them in the trailer, take them to the gas station, put some 91 non-oxy in there, top them off, pull the batteries out. I'll store the batteries in my basement because I don't have a place in the garage to keep them. If you got a tender, I would recommend putting them on a battery tender, but it seems to be okay just keeping them inside a heated surface. Don't put it on a concrete floor, put it on a wooden shelf or something. So let's get into this. I'm just using the same oil that I use on my dirt bike. I don't have any gloves, so I'm going to be using plastic bags for gloves, but let me shake the heck out of this thing real quick. All right. oil's still coming out, or the solvent's still in here. Holy cow. Guess I should have glued this out or something. The reason you want to get the solvent off is because, well, obviously it's going to break the oil down. So, if I can get this oiled. That's oil. Make sure you inspect the seams too. Looks like this one's starting to separate a little bit right here, but it's not all the way through, so I should have done a better job inspecting them when they were still dirty, but this one was so bad. All right, let's grease this one up. Oh man. See, I don't know if you guys can see this because the light's bad, but there is some pitting in the foam. Foam's starting to deteriorate in this one a little bit. This one looks like it's money. This is off my wife's machine with very little miles. Alright, got some grease. Get that on the sealing surface. The funny thing is the Honda manual says you're supposed to do this, but I didn't see any grease from the factory here, so I don't know if it's just time or what, but and yeah, same thing. You should be wearing gloves. Now to find the, where the hell is the cage? All right, here we go. Little nub right there, right? And then super annoying with plastic bags, but gotta do what you gotta do. Guess I made that a lot harder than it needed to be. All right, we got the clamp. Maybe. Oh yeah, it's right here. Yeah, that's why if you can, get all your projects, get the project done start to finish in the same day or weekend, because I don't know about you guys, I always lose parts. something else goes on and you gotta move stuff around, and then you start losing stuff. Like, where the heck is my screwdriver? Now with all this extra oil in here, I don't know if it's going to smoke. It's definitely going to run differently for about 30 seconds till it sucks all that through and burns it off. But when I did this with my dirt bike, it didn't really do much. So you just check to make sure that this filter ain't coming off. And it looks like it's on there. We don't want to suck up anything. All right, that's money. All right, that's good. I think the other thing to ask too is like, well, why am I doing this stuff at the end of the season, right? Why not do it in the springtime before I ride? Well, contaminated oil has properties in it, you know, from the engine, carbon deposits, and it gets acidic, and you know, it's, you basically, my rationale behind this is I don't want dirty oil and fumes circulating inside the engine, inside the bearings and all that stuff. Just one less thing. I mean, if I do the oil change now versus in the spring, maybe I'll get some extra life out of the machine. I don't know, but that's my rationale. We'll see how things go. I will do a pre-ride maintenance in the spring, so look out for that. I'll post it up here when I'm done, but I hope you guys got something out of this. If you have questions, let me know. If I missed something or something you'd like to see in more detail, hit up in the comments below. Thanks, have a great, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope your Christmas is awesome, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you much.